Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what's in my toolkit. And by toolkit, I mean all the different pads that I like to use with my fighters. When using different pads for training, each pad has a different type of purpose, and that's the key to having a good set of toolkits. You gotta use different tools for different purposes. So let's go through my 5 different pads that I like to use with my fighters. And the first one I like to start with are the paddles. The reason I like to use the paddles is because in any fight that you do, I like to start my fighters with long, straight punches. So the paddles are nice to establish the nice length of the technique, especially when throwing their jabs and straight punches. I'm looking for full extension, and the paddle is really nice for my guys to do it. And especially when you're starting to warm up your fighter, you don't want everything to be power-based, everything aggressive. So it's nice to keep your fighter with full extension in their technique, as well as establishing good distance control. Every time I hit, you see me move and allow my fighter to adjust accordingly. It's all about full extension and a lot of good volume. As well as a coach, and a lot of coaches have come from big backgrounds and fighting careers, and a lot of our joints hurt. So the paddles are very good alternatives to make sure our elbows, our forearms, and our wrists stay healthy, as well as really work the fighter. So you're gonna get your fighter with a lot of volume straight punches, which is gonna really help them long, snap their punches, keep their distance control, and move. And usually from the paddles now, I'll transition into something a little bit more impact-based, where I like to go now to something with my full-size mitts. And the full-size mitts are good now because a lot of my fighters can actually sit on their punches a little bit more. So now from straight punches, I'll move and I'll adjust a little bit to having more hooks and uppercuts, especially now, with the bigger pad, it's easier for them to sit and dig. So straight punches into hooks, uppercuts, good knees, and especially since I have good control with my fighters, I can get them to actually mix in low kicks, head kicks, body kicks. So it's a little bit more control based. But I'm still looking with these types of pads for nice long technique, the introduction of hooks, uppercuts, and knees, and a little bit more of control kicking. I'm looking for more of the snap, right? When you want that big power round kicks, that's when we put the full Thai pads on. But here is more for precision striking, nice and crisp, nice and long. Everything is hit and return to the stance. So again, hook, uppercuts, and a little bit more power. Now, what I like to move from here is something where now I use my Thai pads. And from those who've seen me use my Thai pads in the past, I use them in many different ways. So I like to use them what I call single pad way, which I can maneuver, right? This way it's easy to hold body kicks, I can hold low kicks or head kicks very easily. I could adjust for level kicking, okay? So this is good if I'm trying to work strategy from punch stick low kicks or body kick, low kick, head kick. It's all about level changing, where I personally don't like holding low kicks with the big Thai pads, okay? So this way lets me kind of move and change levels really quickly with the kicks. And I can flow with the punches really well. But when it's time now where I want big power and I want my guys to really sit on the punches, good combinations, good flow, then I'll put the Thai pad on, and now I could ask my fighters for good power, good energy, good repetition. So when I'm really wanting to gas my fighters out with good power, I put the Thai pad on, okay? So remember, everything has a different purpose. With the Thai pads on, it's all about power, aggressive, big power round kicks, good punches to kicks, kicks to punch, clinch and knee, everything becomes power-based on the Thai pads. Now, what I like to transition sometimes is what I call the big punching pad. And this is nice because it really focuses solely on power. There's not much straight punches with here. If anything, it's a single straight punch, and now it's all about level changing power shots. So for this pad, I really like to focus on good rotation in my fighters' bodies, right? So especially when they're throwing hooks, a lot of times we just punch with the arm. So the punch pad really forces my fighters to really turn, move, and change angles. So you always see me changing angles. Especially, I love to use the same hand power. So hook, uppercut, hook off the same hand, uppercut, hooks on the other side. So all about power punching with the punch pad. Okay, for my last one that I like to use, and a lot of teams don't use it, I like to use the micro mitts as well, okay? So there's a little bit of a difference from the traditional one that I showed you. They're really small. So what this forces my fighters to be super accurate, especially my MMA fighters with a nice small 4-ounce glove. They have to be so precise on this micro mitt. So now it's all about playing the game. So you see me really focus on my guys really staying long, technical, and sharp, because they have to really focus on getting the 2 knuckles right on the point of the red here, okay? So recap. Every pad has a different purpose. You gotta use different pads to encourage different, either one, energy systems in your fighter, different concepts, different punches, and different techniques. So paddles, nice long straight punches, volume, movement, more of my mitts, a little bit more precision, but you can sit on your punches, hooks, uppercuts, knees, precision kicking. I put my Thai pads on, it's all about power. Rip the power, level changes, punch to kick, kick to punch, clinch and knee with the Thai pads. When you want your fighter to sit down, get as much power as they can in their punches, really rotate that body, we bring out the punch shield, okay? So those are 5 different tools that I like to keep in my toolkit. I'm sure others have different types of mitts, different sizes, some are curved, but ideally these 5 cover all aspects of fighting, and I recommend you using them, changing it up, and sometimes I even like to mix and match between the different tools, and this is where the creativity of your coaching comes into play. Sometimes I might use a paddle, you know, with the punch shield. I like to mix and match the tools because that's where the fun happens, okay? Remember, everything has to have a purpose. Get your fighter working to improve. Use the right tool to do so. We'll see you next week. Keep liking, subscribing, hit the notification bell, write some comments below, and keep watching Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.